Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And
on this first episode of season 2, we gonna bring it to you nasty style.
no.
And here we go.
Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
Welcome to season 2. On this first episode of season 2, we're going to recap and then we're going to talk about starting new.
So listen up.
Let's go.
We should probably kiss before next time.
Not at the end.
Yeah, just because it gets heated. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm rolling.
Welcome back to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I am her husband. Husband? I am her husband.
Come on, ready. I didn't know I said it again. My bad.
You do.
Ready. Okay, I'm ready.
And go.
Welcome back to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm her husband, Aaron Jackson.
Welcome back to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And let's reintroduce ourselves.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Come on, okay? So for those of you who are new and for those of you that just need a little catcher-upper on us, where should we begin?
We have been dating for going on 19 years now.
Yes. And married for going on 7.
Yes,
So...
Because we ain't talking about where we've been. We're talking about where we're going.
We're going. We keep moving forward. And we are currently living in Los Angeles, but we also live in New York. So, you know.
Yeah, kind of bi-coastal,
Yes,
kind of not.
East
The
Coast to West
pandemic brought us over to the West Coast, but we're originally from Los Angeles.
Born and raised in LA. And we're here with our dog, Christmas, and our son, Action Major Jackson. So that's the synopsis.
That's a synopsis of us.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
Let's dive in. Okay, so quick story though.
Go ahead.
No, I thought you was telling a story.
What? No.
Quick
story. Go.
Quick story. Tell them about this past year.
What are you doing?
You wanted to start with the story.
We have a beautiful baby boy named Action Major Jackson. We also have a beautiful dog named Christmas. And we started this podcast on our anniversary last year in August. And mainly we talk about relationships, our relationships in particular, different facets of that, parenting.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about loss, and we have a good time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if it is welcome to season 2, but if it's your first time, go back and binge season 1. We have 22 episodes. They're all amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We are very blackety black in a good way. Because...
It's only a good way.
Yeah.
There's only one way.
There's only one way, and that's the good way. So, go back and listen. And also call in we have a segment called Am I Wrong? Where... usually Lindsey is wrong, and I just express myself as a husband, and it's going to be a good time. So thank you for joining the ride. If you're coming from season 1 and you're joining us, thank you again for being loyal and being a loyal listener. Mm-hmm. And all the new people, welcome to the love train.
Yes. So looking forward, this season we are doing some new things.
Yes.
First new thing we have coming up is our book club.
Boom.
We're so excited about this because one of the things that we love to do together that grows us as a couple is we read together. I think we established last season, it was like top 5 things that's your favorite pastime to do with your partner. And other than sex,
Yeah.
okay, it's reading together, and we really, really enjoy that. So we're incorporating that this season. We have 5 books for season 2, but the first book that we want everyone to get a hold of is by Edwidge Danicat. It's called Everything Inside, and we've just started reading this book, and we are enjoying it already. There are 6 stories throughout the book, and we actually have our guest speaker, the author herself, Miss Danicat. She's going to be joining us.
And one of the future episodes.
Yeah. April 16th. Miss Danicat is going to be joining us on our episode that Friday. So we have 4 weeks to read this book, everyone. And it reads so quickly. So I'm excited about it. We're going to be discussing the first half of the book, April 2nd, at the end of our episode. So if you don't want any spoilers, please read up until page 108 by April 2nd. But either way, it's going to be a good time. Really excited to read and share, kind of get a different perspective. And the good thing about reading together is when you read, it's in your mind. So you see 2 different things and you can talk about it together, and you're kind of like, oh, you got that from this? Or you got that? So we're doing that this season, and it's going to be so great.
So where can people get this book? I know we got it off of Amazon.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Amazon, it's in Barnes and Nobles. We did a giveaway. We're going to be doing a giveaway for all of our books on Instagram. So that's First Comes Love, TCM on Instagram. If you want to win, follow us, check in, and see how you can win this book from us.
So we'll be enjoying the reading. We'll also bring in more guests as we learn how to bring in more guests and have the same audio quality that we want to have, that you love to listen to. And we'll just be growing together, all of us. So
listen up. Thank y'all.
Yeah. And call the voicemail. You can always call the voicemail. That's 347 TRU-LOVE, True Love. That's 347-878-5683. Just for the people who never known and never came, that's the voicemail. We play voicemails on the podcast sometimes, as long as they're like under 3 minutes. But
yeah,
baby, tell me a story on why or how you were like, you know what, podcast is the way to go.
Well, okay, so this is what it is. We have a unique relationship that I like to say, because we have a lot that we have grown together since we were children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people have been together since high school or college, but I have literally known you all my life. Every significant moment has been with you. And so I think, right, big ups to you. So I think that podcast came along because we love to share. I say we because we both do. But if I were to just say an I statement, I love to share. I love to talk about you. I love to talk about my experiences. I love to talk about how I've grown and made mistakes, and how God has helped me see that, okay, this is maybe the better way to be a girlfriend, the better way to be a friend, the better way to be a wife. And so I really think that this is the platform for it. This is definitely a growing experience for us.
Yes, for us.
And
but you have the voice for this. Oh my goodness. Your voice, the very first time I heard you on this podcast, I said, wow, this girl's got it. And you really be carrying me through on this podcast. So I really appreciate you. And you've been doing a lot of hard work getting the books together and getting the special guests together during the off season. So I wanted to commend you on air about that.
Oh, thank you.
And you've been lighting up our Instagram. Our Instagram is so fun. People love to follow. It's a good follow. And you've been working really hard on that. So thank you so much for all your hard work during the off season. And let's get ready to go. So here's the first Am I Wrong segment.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Am I Wrong segment of First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage. I am going to present something that is going on, and you're going to tell me if I am the person who is wrong, or if Lindsey, my wife, is wrong. So we've been in California for a year. This is the anniversary of us coming back from living in New York because of the pandemic. And Lindsey has grown up in Los Angeles. If anybody has grown up in Los Angeles, you know that you have to drive.
Okay.
And so Lindsey, one, has had her license longer than me. Lindsey has always had her license.
Because I'm older than you.
By a month.
I'm still older, so I've had it longer.
Okay, Lindsey got her license before me. And you're actually one of the reasons I got a license, because I was like, well, my girl got a license, I need a license. So Lindsey does not feel comfortable to drive
Okay, I know where this is
SUVs. And right now, the only car we have available is a SUV. And she is, I would say, it's like being ignorant on purpose. Like, I'm not comfortable and I don't want to be comfortable. So I'm just not going to drive. And sometimes I want her to drive. And I feel like a lot of husbands are, as we're supposed to be, equal but not old school, like new school marriage, millennial marriages.
Okay.
Why am I new school marriages? Why am I always the only person driving? And so am I wrong? Should I drive all the time or should Lindsey drive sometimes?
Okay. May I speak?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so just to give you a little backstory, we have been away for 6 years, right? So in that 6-year time frame, we've been in New York. We come back home for maybe 3-4 days a year. That's it, period. Within that 6 years, I don't drive for the 4 years. So I haven't really driven in 6 years. And what I told him is that, yes, I'm not comfortable. I need to relearn how to drive. Also, side note, we talked about gender roles in season 1, and I just want to point this out because we had a deep conversation with our listeners about gender roles and if you should step into those gender roles or not. And so one of the gender roles for me
is driving?
No. Is motherhood. And so there are certain things.
That's not a gender role.
Okay, but listen. There are certain things that you be like, oh, you doing that? Oh, you giving them a bath? Oh, you doing that? And I do all of it. When I say all of it, it's all of it. Okay? And so now all of a sudden, because driving, I think is like a male's responsibility.
Okay.
Most of the time.
All right. Well, look, hit us up on the Instagram at First Comes Love TCM, or you could call the voicemail at 347-878-5683. Please go tell her that she's wrong.
Okay, I didn't make my point solid though.
And so that's it.
Oh no, I'm gonna lose.
All right,
come on. Welcome back. And question for you, baby, is could you give us one thing that you changed? Because we're talking about starting new, starting fresh, right? We're stepping into new stages in our lives. What is one thing that you feel like you changed coming from fiancé to husband?
Okay. So coming from fiancé to husband, I like that you did fiancé to husband and not boyfriend to husband, because there is that stage of fiancé. It's interesting. New season, starting anew. We've been here for a year, and everybody kind of had to, you know how they say the new normal, right? So you have to find your new normal. And as a husband, with anything that I do, it's almost like school to me. So I get in and there's like an orientation or like a job, right? You have an orientation. I get to figure out, the do's and don'ts, right? What can get me fired, stuff like that. And I also I understand the culture. There we go. I also understand the culture of whatever environment I'm in. So if I'm at the workplace, I kind of understand like, okay, these people, they joke like this or they talk like this. They wear these uniforms and stuff like that. And that's the same thing I did with marriage. Like there's a culture that comes to marriage. Sometimes married people have these problems that other couples don't. Like some of the am I wrongs are are mainly because we're married and we're together all the time. It's part of the marriage culture, especially the marriage culture that we have grew up in, also seeing, and also that we kind of cultivated ourselves. So the biggest change for me was learning that no is okay. Like being an adult person and accepting no has been a huge change, because when I got married, I'm a grown man. I want everything to be yes.
Right,
like,
get
look,
to yes.
If I can pay for it, yeah. How do we get into the
yes?
I'm a grown man. How dare you tell me no? And one thing that we posted on the Instagram is like, no is not rejection, it's redirection.
Yes.
Right? It's like when people say, go be great by somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's a no at a job, or I need to go find another job, or it's a no when it comes to, I don't know, just like maybe it might be parenting, maybe it'll be the way that I want to help you. There might be a no. I want to help you this way, but you don't accept that type of help because that's not the type of help that is helpful for you. Then I have to redirect myself and not just shut down off of that no.
Okay.
And so that's one of the biggest things that I had to do as a husband, is just realize that no is good. No is growth. And
yeah.
And that was really tough because, it's almost like an ego thing. It is an ego thing for me. When you say no to me, you are attacking my ego.
Oh, no. Okay.
Right? And so putting my ego aside and getting deeper into the reasons why things are, and not even questioning it to you, but like you say something happens and I'm grilling you about it. It's like me analyzing from a different perspective. Okay, how do I think that she meant this, or maybe I approached this the wrong way, and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest thing for me that I had to step into as a husband from Fiancé. Because even in Fiancé, there was no no's for me. It's like, where do you want the wedding? How, it's the Fiancé to me was the great part. It's just yes. We're about to get married. Where are we going? Where are we going to eat? All this different things.
Right.
So it was really like you really wanted a flower wall. I really wanted to wear all white and then switch into gray. And you were like, oh, you gotta buy somebody. You asked one of your friends. You was like, one of my friends wants to go with you to buy a suit. And I was like, you must be crazy.
Yeah,
like,
that was funny.
I'm getting my own suit. I'm gonna look fly. And so that is the Fiancé stage for me. Fiancé stage is almost a little bit irresponsible. I mean, we're getting ready for marriage, but I'm just like, spend, save money to spend it. If we ain't got money, then we'll find some money to spend. And then the reality hits, and that's marriage. So that was my thing. What was one thing that you changed from Fiancé to wife?
One big thing that I'm still learning, because it's true, is the submissive part of it. And I think that there was this big buildup for me of like, especially just being raised in the church, of you not giving your all to your boyfriend, or you don't give your all until you are married, until you are husband and wife. So I didn't need to be submissive to you because there was no reason for that. And it's funny because it's one of those things that's like, you don't learn until you're in it. So then it's like, okay, now this one day happens where you say I do, and all of a sudden my attitude and my actions and my character is supposed to change to be submissive? How? It's so funny because they expect that of you. And I say they, thinking of the church, because this is what I was taught. And the reality is, it doesn't happen that way. So all of a sudden, I was expected to, I shouldn't, I don't know how to put it, but listen to you. And no, I was, yes, because this is how we were both raised. And so, you expected me to step into.
Hey, don't put me in.
Okay, you're right. No you statements. I'm just saying, I was expected to be submissive, to listen to you, to hear what you had to say as the head of the house. That's what we were taught. That's what I was taught. And that was a challenge. That was a huge change for me because I'm not combative by nature, but I am when it comes to you. Because I love you so much and I am my natural self, and we can have conversations where I'm like, well, I think and you think. Mm-hmm. And so to me, that was the hugest change for me. It's still happening right now. And I saw on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram a lot these days, is a quote like, a husband or a man who leads, a woman won't have a problem being submissive to them. Something like that. And I was like, well, that's not true. That's not true. You have to be the type of person, or I have to be the type of person who wants to be submissive, who understands the value of that, who understands that, okay, this is what I want to do. It has nothing to do with you, and so all that to say that I can recall thinking about that as we came away from the wedding and the honeymoon, and we went back to New York into our New York apartment that we just got together, and we moved in, and something was happening in the kitchen. Because also, all of a sudden, you expected me to cook. I had never been a cook in all of our years together. Okay, so it was not, but for some reason it was like, oh, you're gonna cook now. So it was that too, but it was something that was in the kitchen, and I was just thinking, how do I do this? How do I listen to my husband in this way? And I had to learn it, and I'm still learning it. Truth be told, I'm still learning how to be patient, how to hold my tongue, how to pick and choose my battles, how to do all of those things that are very, very important in a relationship. So
yes, I'm glad that you're still working on it and you're still growing. I appreciate that. I remember, to piggyback on yours, that was a really good one. I remember learning, and one of my strengths is listening, right?
Yes.
That's one of my strengths.
That's what drew me to you in the first place when we were 12.
Yeah. So I'm a really good listener, but I read about listening without the intent of responding. And so when it came to you and being married to you, and sometimes you'll be talking because you like to talk.
Okay.
And I was just talking to my friend about this. I used to want to help all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like, you tell me something, I'm about to give you advice back. All right. But now I'm working on, and it really helped me, and I feel like it helped our relationship grow, where we don't like bicker and fight. I listen. When you're talking to me, I'm listening to listen. I'm not listening to respond immediately. I'm not thinking of a response when you're talking. I'm taking in all the information that you're giving me, and then after you're done, then I'll process it, and then I can respond. And I can respond with advice if I see that you're asking for advice, or I can respond by just letting you know that what you said was clear. So if you're talking about a bad day at work and how so-and-so was talking mean to you, and I could just be like, as soon as you say you're having a bad day and somebody's talking to you, I'm like, oh, well, you could go to the manager, da-da-da, in my head. Mm-hmm. But I stopped doing that. I started thinking about everything. I'll listen. And sometimes the best thing for me to say is, baby, it really sounds like, man, you did have a bad day at work. Like,
and I'll be like, I did.
Yeah, and boom, and that's it. Just kind of like recap what
you
said. And that's one of the things that I learned to piggyback off of you saying being submissive is me listening without just being like, I'm the head of the household, I'm going to fix it, right? It's like, I need to listen to you. And yeah, I feel like it really helped our marriage. And it's one of the things that if somebody was getting married or is engaged, I would tell a guy, like, I would pull him to a side. Okay, here's a good one. What's 3 things you would tell a woman who's about to get married? Like, pull her to the side, like, hey, girl, boom. 3 things on the spot.
Yeah, it definitely depends. I can't do a blanket 3 things. You try to put me on the spot like that, because we got married at a different level. We got married very young to me, even though we were 27, but we got married virgins. We got married not knowing much about credit and debt. Like, everything was new to us. So, now if we meet someone who's our age and has already experienced their career and things like that, getting married, it might be something different. But one thing I would say is that, we talked about this before, is sometimes you are going to go to bed and put a button on something, because the thing that we heard over and over again was, don't go to bed angry. Yeah, that's not going to happen all the time. Okay, because then you're not gonna get no sleep. So sometimes, I'm not saying go to bed angry, I'm saying go to bed at peace where we can talk about this tomorrow. And so I would dispute that one, and so I would just be like, sometimes you just go to bed. Another thing I would say is,
so you like, get your rest, girl, because you're going to fight tomorrow.
No! But maybe, okay. Another thing is, I would say is, 3 things is hard. Okay. Another thing I would say is to do things that your husband likes to do. I feel like oftentimes, when you're in the beginning stages, you like to do everything together because you just like to do everything together and be together. And then as you go on, it's like, oh, I like this show and he likes this show. Oh, I like to do this hobby and he likes to do that hobby over there. And so, sometimes it's like, oh, we're not doing anything together except for talking about what we're not doing together. And so it's, do things that the other person likes to do. And remind yourself of that as you continue to go forward. And the third thing I would say is,
I thought you would have 3 off bat. You're such a good wife. I was just thinking that you were just like, boom, boom, boom.
Well, the things I do for you, another husband might not want.
I know, but these are the things that work. So, I mean, you don't know her husband, but you know this works as a wife, so.
That's true. Okay, third thing is, greet your husband when he comes home every day with a baby's home, daddy's home. Hey, baby, you're home.
Yeah.
And give that kiss, because it just solidifies the love that's there. They want to come home to a loving home, no matter what happened out there. That's what I think. That's
some good game right there. Ooh, you might have to charge them for that.
Okay. What you got? You got 3 things?
For a guy,
yeah.
I'm like, first thing I'm like, you sure you want to do this?
Hey.
No. For a guy, a fiancé about to get married. I would say one thing. I would say you need to learn that. Or I would say one thing that I learned, because I don't want to like put it all on him. I'll say one thing that really helped me is knowing that even though I lost an argument when I am clearly right.
Okay.
I still won, because ultimately the goal is for us to be living happy together. So if there's like a big argument, I like to, and it doesn't matter. Some things are really important, but you have to choose. We did pretty good. Call from. We're done with the episode.
I know.
This was just extra.
I know.
Hey, move.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Kick again. Oh, you want to kick over there?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you playing games with me? It's like the moles.
I know. It's like do. Your hands are really hot, and I'm trying to cool them down. Oh, did you feel that?
No.
I'm sorry. That was my bad. But your hands are really hot.
Okay. Does he kick every time I leave?
Yes. Probably because he's like, it's cool. Okay.
All right, ready?
Okay, yes.
I would say the first one would be choose. I choose my battles. I choose my battles. Is it going to be that important in 30 years and 40 years? If it is, then I'm gonna fight for it. But if not, then I'm just gonna let it go. Number 2 would be the listening thing. Listening with not the intent to answer back. It's just to listen. And the third thing would be that I don't have to hold everything in. It is a partnership. So I express myself when I am unhappy before it gets to a point where I'm so unhappy that I want to cheat. Or if I feel bottled up, so bottled up that, I want to go out drinking with the boys because I feel underappreciated. If I don't let things go that far. I communicate with my intentions. This is how I feel, and also if you make me feel a certain way about expressing my feelings, also address that. Hey, I'm trying to express myself freely. What you're doing is hindering my communication with you.
Mm-hmm.
And those would be the 3 things I would do, because I mean, communication is key. And that's why I'm so happy that we did this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Those are valuable, especially what you talk about with sharing how you feel, because oftentimes men are not supposed to share.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, all of a sudden you are out late or drinking or doing something, and I'm the type, I'm like, why you didn't just tell me? And it doesn't have to be that way if you share.
And especially if you start early, then it's like the culture thing that we're building the culture of communication.
Absolutely.
So because it is difficult to adapt to change within the marriage, and people do change within the marriage. And that's when, if your communication lines are clear, you can adapt, or I adapted better when you have changed. Mm-hmm. Like your personality has changed, my personality has changed. Mm-hmm. Just being older makes you change, right? And life. Life. Mm-hmm. So adapting to the change in the marriage, and I love who you are, and I love who you're gonna be, and you're the best. I really enjoyed doing this podcast. I was so excited. I'm so excited for season 2. I was just waiting. If you didn't know, most of the time through the off season, we talked about the podcast, but we weren't talking. This is our time to talk about things, and I really just appreciate us talking. I'll talk about me. I feel like we always talked about the podcast, but on the podcast, we actually talk, and we get to talk about deeper things, and I really appreciate talking to you because I love you so much.
Thank you, baby. So you just dropped some nuggets out there, and then you just made me blush at the same time.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
Thank you for...
All right. Thank you for joining us on our first episode of season 2. This was really just fun for us to come back and be in the fold of talking to each other, asking questions, and then we want to hear what you think. So you know how we do. Call us, tell us who's right or who's right.
Who's right?
Who's right or who's wrong.
Okay, Callie, okay. Don't do the am I wrong? We done with that.
No, I'm just telling them that there are multiple reasons for them to communicate with us. They can either do the am I wrong? They can tell us 3 things that they think.
Okay.
Okay.
That was good. Go ahead.
So we love to hear from you. There are multiple ways that you can connect with us. Make sure you tell us who's right, who's wrong for the Am I Wrong? Call us or DM us about that. But also, people in relationships, tell us, what 3 things do you know? Have you learned? And could you share with us about the differences or the changes that you've made between fiance and wife, or girlfriend
And
to
to fiance.
fiance? Because those are stages. Those are big stages. And this past year, oh my goodness, so many people got engaged.
But also, this past year, a lot of people called off their wedding.
Okay, so it's a lot of new seasons that we're in, and I'm embracing it. I'm embracing this new season with you right now.
So make sure you hit us up on DM on. So make sure you hit us up on Instagram at First Comes Love TCM. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Call the voicemail at 347-878-5683. That's 347 TRU-LOVE, True Love.
Or you can email us, let's talk at firstcomeslovethenComesMarriage.com.
And I'm really happy to say this again for the second season.
See you next Friday.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, baby.
Mwah.